What is up, warriors, and welcome back to another video. Today I've got the final part of this at-home training series. I thought I'd finish up this routine with a nice stretching routine, and the one voted for the Patreons was a nice relaxed evening stretching routine. So that's what we're gonna do today. Something to unwind at the end of the day, still work a little bit on developing flexibility, but it's mainly about sitting, breathing, letting go, embracing the suck, preparing for bed. So without further ado, let's jump into this routine. This routine today, you're gonna need a bolster. It can also be done with some cushions or some yoga blocks, but for the most part, we're not really going to need anything. We're gonna start this routine in a seated position. You can be sat on a sofa, you can be sat on the floor. I'm gonna be kneeling just to demo this one for you. And we're gonna start with some nice, relaxed, deep breathing extensions. So we're going to extend as we breathe in, and we're gonna flex as we breathe out. So we're just gonna do 5 with your breath, with your own timing, and take it nice and slow. So nice deep breath in, expand the rib cage, and then breathe out and come into like a fetal position. Really try to feel the mid back pulling you backwards when you're extending. So try to pull your elbows down, lift the chest up, support the head. And then as you breathe in, keep the chin tucked. Perfect, so the last one we're gonna breathe out. Shake off, and we're just gonna come forward into an upward dog position. So just nice arms up. Straight with the arms, and you're gonna take a breath in, and you're gonna lower yourself to a lying position, and then you're gonna breathe out and breathe yourself back up. As you breathe in, come back down to the bottom. And then again, breathe out, press back up to that downward dog. Again, we're just gonna do 5 of these. So kind of the opposite, so breathing in on the way down. Out on the way up. So another 2 more here. Really trying to pull those shoulder blades back, lift the chest here, let the hips stay on the ground. And last one. So pause in this last position for a second. You can rotate side to side if you want to. And we're actually gonna come on over now to our back. So we're gonna lie direct our back now. Arms out either side, bring the heels in towards the bum, keep the knees together, and then all we're gonna do is we're just gonna let the knees drop, first of all to our left-hand side, all the way down. Breathe out as the leg drop. Breathe back in, breathe them up to the top, and then drop to the other side. Here we're gonna try and keep our shoulders nice and planted into the ground, and just let our lower back do the moving. Should feel this one is quite nice at just releasing. It's a lot of tension, a lot of compression that if you're sat down or something in the day, standing a lot as well. So we're just gonna do 5 of these per side. So this is number 2. So we should have started on the left-hand side, so this will be number 3. Moving on to the right-hand side. Again, just do this in your own time. I'll take some pauses between stretches so you can catch up. Not doing anything too intense. So number 4. And last one, number 5. So on this one, you're actually gonna pause, but I'm gonna turn around so I can face the camera. So back to that position, we're gonna pause on this left-hand side. I want you to bring your left arm out and I want you to turn onto your side. So we're gonna face the camera. Here you can get a pillow if you want to. Actually, I want to get a pillow. I want to be comfortable when we're doing this. So you can get your pillow. We're gonna stay in that kind of tucked up position, that fetal position, hand out to the side. We're just gonna do some thoracic rotation. So to start with, you're gonna breathe out and you're gonna reach the hand forward. Then from here, you're gonna take a nice deep breath in, stroke with the hand all the way across the chest, driving the elbow of the other hand down towards the ground. You're also gonna make sure that you're keeping these knees connected with the floor at the same time. So we're gonna get a nice twist in the torso, and then you're just gonna breathe out. You can stroke the hand all the way down and reach as far as you can away from you. We're gonna do 5 of these per side. So you're gonna breathe in, keep those knees down, rotate, pull the hand, the elbow back towards the ground, and breathe out. I'm not gonna try and talk too much so you know what you're doing. Just keep doing it with your own breath rate. So last one here. So as you come back, now for this one, you guys can just roll over, face the other way. I'm gonna turn around so I'm still facing you and you can see quite easily. So we're gonna start with the left arm on top now. So remember, tuck up into that sort of fetal position. The more you tuck up, the more intense or the harder your body has to work to rotate, but that's not always the goal here. So again, reach away from you with that left arm, breathe in, pull across, keep those knees planted, drive the elbow down, and then breathe out, return again. We're gonna do 5 on this side as well. Nice deep breathing. You can take more than 1 breath per rep if you want to. If you want to spend a bit more time in that stretch, you might find that one side's a little bit tighter than the other. So last rep on this side. So we're going to move that pillow just away to the side, turn onto our back. Just going to bring the knees up and just give ourselves a hug. Again, we're just going to take a couple of breaths. This is not yoga, by the way. Perfect, we're gonna come now to a seated position. So we're gonna place our left leg on the floor, so as if we're about to go into a cross leg position, but we're not gonna cross our right leg just yet. We're just gonna take our left leg, we're gonna bring the right leg over that knee, so in a slightly twisted position. Then gonna drop that left shoulder down towards the ground. So we should now feel a stretch on this right glute, and we're simply gonna hug that leg. If you're a little bit more up here, that is fine. The goal is to try and get that shoulder down towards the ground. We're just gonna hold this one for a good 5 and a bit breaths. So just pull yourself in, get a nice hug going, try to pull your chest towards your shin, sit back into it. Again, looking for that stretch on the right glute. And just breathe. Over this time, you can look to try and shift that shoulder down further towards the ground. But again, this should be kind of a relaxed stretch. We're not necessarily pushing it on max range of motion here. Just one more breath on this side. Come back to middle, we're just going to swap sides. So you're going to bring right leg underneath as if we're going to sit. So right leg is down now, left leg comes over. You're going to drop right shoulder down, sink into it, give our left leg a nice big hug. Just breathe, trying to get that right shoulder down towards the ground. About 5 deep breaths here. Inch a little bit deeper each time. So the last breath here. And come back up, we're gonna stay seated. I'm just gonna bring our feet together in front of us, hands behind you to support yourself, chest nice and upright. I'm just gonna let our legs drop into butterfly position. I'm just gonna hold this very briefly. So you can rock a little bit from side to side. Use the glutes slightly to feel like you're going to pull the knees down towards the ground. And now we're just going to move to some hamstrings. So for the hamstrings, you're going to need a slightly slidey floor, some form of lack of friction. I'm just going to move the edge of the mat here. You may have seen this before. It's been in the latest hamstring flexibility one, but we're going to do what is called a Pike Hug slide out. So you're gonna start in a kneeling position. You're gonna walk forward with the hips so you feel like you're sitting on the top of your hamstrings, not sat rounded on your glutes. From here, you're just gonna take hug your legs, and we're just gonna let those feet begin to slide out. Now again, the main focus here is keeping this chest in contact with these thighs. I don't wanna see you just like let the legs slide away and then lose that contact. We wanna keep that hug nice and tight the entire time. So we're just going to let the feet slide. Once we get to a point of stretch, we're just going to pause. And the pause, we're going to try and pull the feet back slightly into the ground. So we're going to breathe in as we do this. Just pulling those heels down to the ground. We'll breathe out. We're just going to try and slide a little bit deeper. I'm going to do 2 more of those. So pull those heels into the ground. Pulling, breathe out. So basically you want to do that pulling sensation, the active sensation as we're breathing in, try and breathe out and sink deeper as we go further. If you get to the point where your arms are stopping you, you can move to have the hands around the feet. So then again, we're going to do one last one. We're going to breathe in, pull the heels down towards the ground, and then try to relax a little bit deeper. Again, you don't want to lose contact with that chest and the thighs. So make sure you're nice and supported the entire time. Last position, we're just going to breathe for 2 nice deep breaths. You can come out of that one slightly. Shake it around a bit. We're then gonna hop ourselves up into a bit of a lunge position. And we're gonna lunge first of all with our right leg forward. So we're going to drop that left leg into a lunge. We're just going to twist into that right hand leg. So we're going to let the knee drop out to the side. We're going to feel like we're twisting, so we're a little bit more side on towards our body. We're going to feel more of a stretch going into the hip, but also a little bit into the lower back and the side, our obliques. I'm just going to hold this a second. Feel a nice stretch over the hip flexor, and again, just deep breathing here. Just going to take 3 breaths. From here, we're just going to come up a little bit more to central. This would be actually a good time to grab a support. So if you have a chair here or something, I'm just going to use my upright bolster, something that I can just like sit into a little bit. It's going to keep me a bit more upright. So I'll give you a few seconds to grab that. But essentially, we're just going to do a little bit of hip flexor stretching in this position. So we're just going to give you another 5 seconds. Make sure, 1, we're staying nice and upright. Number 2 is we're thinking about getting this left hip pushing towards our base of support, our target. If we feel that the right leg is in the way, you can again just let the right leg drift out to the side and focus on pushing this back hip forward. So get into a nice comfortable level of stretch. First of all, we're going to try and pull the knee of this back leg. So we're going to try and pull it towards us. We're going to pull it forward. We're not going to move anywhere. Just going to try and pull, hold for 5 seconds. And then breathe out, try to push the hip forward and sink deeper into the stretch. So I'm going to do 2 of those. So again, I'm going to pull the knee forward as we breathe in, breathe out, sink a little bit deeper. I'm just going to move my leg a bit deeper into this one. So the last one here, so we're going to pull that knee forward, actively feel it pulling. 2 and 1. Breathe out, sink a little bit deeper. I'm just going to hold this last stretch position for a couple of breaths. Perfect, we're just going to come out of that. Move this support to the side for a second. We're going to need it when we're doing the other side, but first of all, we're going to do that sideways one. So we're going to bring left leg forward, drop that knee back, right hand to the side, drop that right hip down, twist into the front leg, and then chill. Looking for that stretch over that right hip flexor into the right oblique, right left hand lower back. Again, 3 nice deep breaths here. Last one here. Come back into that center position. Get your support to lean on, whether that's the side of the sofa, whether that's a chair. Lean on into it. Let that knee drop out if it has to. Sink that hip down. And then we're going to do a few of the reps of that PNF. So we're just going to try and pull the knee up towards the support. 3, 2, 1. And relax, try to push that hip now more towards that support. Again, so we're going to do the pulling when we're breathing in, relaxing as we're breathing out. So pull again, breathe in. 2, 1. Breathe out, try and sink deeper. Again, remaining quite upright when we're doing this one. Breathe in, pull. 2, 1, breathe out. Sink deeper. We're just going to hold this last one for a couple of deep breaths. Right, that is that one. We've got 2 more stretches for you now today. So the next one is going to be pancake related. Now, I realize some of you may have an issue with this one, so if you're a little bit tighter, we can do our pancake on an elevated surface, like this bolster, for example, and with bent legs. So this, for example, is not a bad pancake position. It means we can come forward. Doing this sat on a sofa, sat on a chair, something like that is great, but you want to make sure you have some support in front of you. So for example, I'm going to be using this bolster. So I can just sit now into the stretch. I'm going to wedge my bolster in, so the bolster is going to support me from going any deeper into the stretch position, so I feel supported and I can relax. I want to have a light stretch, a reasonable amount of stretch here, but I want to make sure I'm being supported comfortably. So I'll give you 10 seconds or so to get yourself set up in the correct position, whether that is going to be, if you're on the floor and you're close, you can bend the legs slightly, or as I said, you can sit up on the sofa or an elevated object. So get a position that is hard for you, but comfortable enough, and that you feel supported. If you now have a partner or a child or a dog or something reasonable in weight, you can get them to lie on your back. Because you're supported by this object, you're not going to go any deeper. It just helps kind of with the gravity and the vector of this situation. But essentially, we're just going to lie here and we're going to breathe. So I'm going to do, again, a few reps of PNF. So we're going to do our PNF. We're going to try and squeeze the legs together, but we're also going to squeeze down into the floor. So nice, about 30-40% effort, not too hard. Squeeze down into the floor and together as you breathe in. 2, 1. As you breathe out, we're going to try and relax a little bit deeper into the stretch. Again, we're not pushing max effort here. We should just feel a stretch. And then what we're trying to do is we're trying to feel that stretch reflex dissipate and go away. So it should feel, as we get towards the end of this, that there's not much resistance from our body to be in this position. So again, we're going to squeeze down and in as you breathe in. 2, 1. Breathe out. Try to relax. Try to feel that stretch sensation go away. Going to do one more. So we're going to squeeze down and in. Breathe in. And breathe out. And we're going to hold this final position for 2 to 3 nice deep breaths, and we're going to move on to the final stretch. So final breath here. And that is our stretch done. From here, we're still gonna need this bolster and the support, but we're gonna set up now what is known as a hero pose. So this one's gonna vary per person. I'm just gonna throw a couple of overlays so you can see, because I'm not gonna have the equipment or the setup that I can do, but for a lot of people, what will work nicely is having a support underneath the hips, so we can go back into this kneeling position, and then being able to lie back onto a sofa or something that's gonna support us a little bit higher. If you're more flexible, you can drop the hips down and you can lie onto something that I've got here, like a bolster. Whatever it is, it needs to be comfortable. It shouldn't, again, be max effort. We're gonna sit here for a good deep 5 breaths, 60 seconds. So make sure you can sit there comfortably. We don't wanna be feeling uncomfortable like we're squirming around in that position. So hopefully, as I've been talking, you've managed to get yourself into some form of setup. If not, just pause the video. I'm personally gonna use this one. I'm just gonna lie back. And again, we're gonna breathe in this position. We're not actually gonna do anything here, we're just gonna breathe. So I think for myself, I just need to bring this a little bit closer. So again, should feel a nice stretch over the quads, over the hip flexors, potentially a little bit of a release in the lower back, especially if you're doing it on, like, lie on a sofa or an elevated object.
gonna breathe. 5 or more deep breaths. Lovely. I'm going to call the stretching routine there, but if you're comfortable, if you're having a good time, if you're feeling like you're chilled out, feel free to stay in that position longer. But otherwise, that is basically the routine. If you enjoyed this video, as always, you can hit that thumbs up button, support the channel. Whilst you're down there, you can also hit that subscribe button. Make sure you don't miss out on any more future videos, future follow-alongs. They'll be uploaded on this channel. And if you want to follow my updated at-home program for those of you stuck on lockdown, quarantine, whatever it is, I will be linked in the description down below, as well as the offline version of this routine. But that has basically been it for this week, guys. I will catch you in the next episode. Have a strong week and peace.